This is one of the most outrageous things I have heard in a long, long time. In a case that has been filled with, and looks at Wendy and says, you know, you had a great career. Your career is over. It is never coming back. You're done.
Situation over the 12 years that I've been here entertaining you on television. Welcome to Hot Topics, Shireena Hudson. Getting out of my car with my money. Good morning, Journey. She'll be almost I think she'll be 3 next month, don't you know? Good morning, Kelvin.
Y'all, what if the luxury life you built for 15 years vanished overnight, and the very woman whose money funded it all suddenly couldn't access a single dollar? Because that's exactly the nightmare now unfolding around Wendy Williams' ex-husband Kevin Hunter and his longtime mistress Shireena Hudson. For years, insiders say Kevin secretly ran a double life, publicly standing beside Wendy as her loyal husband and manager, while privately building an entirely different world with another woman behind the scenes. And according to multiple reports, that hidden world wasn't cheap. Designer bags, luxury cars, million-dollar properties, all allegedly flowing from the same place, Wendy Williams' empire. But then everything collapsed. In 2022, Wendy's health crisis triggered a shocking legal move, a court-ordered guardianship that froze her finances and locked down her fortune. Overnight, the pipeline of money that had reportedly been funding Kevin's life completely dried up. The $250,000 monthly payments? Gone. The luxury lifestyle? Crumbling. Now insiders claim Kevin is drowning in lawsuits, selling off expensive assets, and scrambling to survive financially. And Shireena, the woman who once flaunted designer luxury online, has allegedly disappeared from the spotlight entirely, reportedly hustling just to stay afloat. But here's where it gets darker. Kevin has now launched a $250 million lawsuit, accusing banks, lawyers, and Wendy's own guardianship team of orchestrating a massive financial scheme that cut him off from her fortune. Meanwhile, Wendy herself remains trapped inside a controversial guardianship system, isolated, medicated, and begging for freedom. And if the rumors swirling behind sealed court documents are true, this scandal may be far bigger than betrayal. Because the real question now is this: who has actually been profiting from Wendy Williams' silence?
So the banks froze everything up.
Yeah.
He was not in a position to pay $10,000.
For years, the world believed they were watching a power couple. On television, Wendy Williams stood at the top of daytime talk, fearless, outspoken, and brutally honest about everyone else's scandals. And right beside her, always just out of the spotlight, was her husband and manager Kevin Hunter, the man who appeared to control the business machine behind her empire. But behind the cameras, insiders say something very different was unfolding. For more than a decade, Kevin Hunter was allegedly living a second life, one that Wendy herself reportedly didn't fully see until it was far too late. According to multiple reports and timelines pieced together by investigators and media insiders, Kevin's relationship with Shireena Hudson wasn't a short-term affair. Sources claim it quietly stretched across 15 years, hidden while Wendy's career was reaching its highest peaks. During those same years, Wendy's talk show was generating massive revenue. Brand deals, television contracts, endorsements, live tours, the money flowing through her empire was staggering. And as her manager, Kevin Hunter controlled much of the financial and business operations surrounding that empire. But behind the scenes, whispers say a portion of that wealth may have been quietly funding a completely different life. Luxury apartments, designer wardrobes, private travel, and eventually even a child. In 2019, everything exploded. Reports surfaced that Shireena Hudson had given birth to Kevin Hunter's daughter, and suddenly the rumors that had followed Kevin for years could no longer be ignored. For Wendy, the revelation was devastating. Not only had the affair allegedly lasted more than a decade, but insiders claimed Kevin had been financially supporting Shireena throughout much of that time. The fallout was immediate.
It was not till death do us part.
And it wasn't just an incident. I mean, the relationship that Kevin had with this woman went on for...
No. Kevin was a serial cheater. Kevin had different mistresses depending on, the part of his life. This last one was the one that he had the longest.
Wendy filed for divorce, ending a marriage that had lasted over 2 decades. But even after the divorce settlement, Kevin did not leave empty-handed. Court documents revealed that he was receiving a staggering $250,000 per month in alimony payments from Wendy. And for a while, life for Kevin and Shireena appeared untouched by the scandal. They relocated to Florida. Expensive cars appeared. A luxury home reportedly worth over $1 million became their new base. On social media, Shireena occasionally posted glimpses of a lifestyle that looked comfortable, even glamorous. But that comfort was tied to one fragile source, Wendy's fortune. And then, in 2022, everything changed. That year, concerns about Wendy Williams' health and finances began spiraling into a full-scale legal crisis. Her longtime bank, Wells Fargo, raised alarms about unusual financial activity and potential exploitation. Soon after, a court stepped in and placed Wendy under a financial guardianship. In simple terms, the move meant Wendy herself no longer had direct control over her own money. Her accounts were frozen. Her financial decisions were handed over to a court-appointed guardian. And almost overnight, the financial pipeline connected to her empire shut down. For Kevin Hunter, the consequences were immediate. Because once Wendy's accounts were locked down under guardianship supervision, the enormous monthly payments he had been receiving stopped. Just like that. The $250,000 checks that had once fueled his lifestyle vanished. And according to legal filings that followed, Kevin Hunter quickly began feeling the pressure. In court documents, he claimed he was suddenly unable to pay even basic obligations, from homeowner association fees to insurance payments and credit card bills. Then the lawsuits began. By 2024, financial institutions were reportedly pursuing Kevin for unpaid debts. Public records suggested luxury vehicles were being sold off, and the Florida property he once shared with Shireena was quietly placed on the market. The empire that had once been funded by Wendy Williams' success was now showing serious cracks. But what shocked many observers even more was what happened next. Instead of stepping away from Wendy's financial world, Kevin Hunter launched a dramatic legal counterattack, filing a $250 million federal lawsuit accusing banks, lawyers, and the guardianship system itself of orchestrating a conspiracy that cut him off from Wendy's fortune. And suddenly, the scandal surrounding Wendy Williams was no longer just about betrayal. It was becoming something much bigger. Because behind the courtroom filings and financial chaos, another disturbing question was beginning to surface. If Wendy Williams was under guardianship to protect her money, then who exactly had been benefiting from it all these years? And more importantly, who might still be profiting from her silence?
The PI was taking pictures of them going to the gym, going to dinner, her with Gucci Poochie.
None of these claims have been fully confirmed in court. But the speculation alone has created a cloud of suspicion hanging over everyone involved in Wendy Williams' financial world. And in the middle of that chaos, two people remain trapped in the fallout. Kevin Hunter, once the powerful manager behind Wendy's empire, now fighting lawsuits, debt, and a collapsing reputation. And Shireena Hudson, the woman whose secret relationship helped destroy a marriage, now reportedly living far from the luxury lifestyle she once displayed. But some insiders believe the story may not be finished yet. Because if financial investigations dig deeper into Wendy's accounts, if hidden transactions or misused funds are uncovered, the list of people facing consequences could grow far beyond Kevin Hunter. And there's one person who might hold the most dangerous secrets of all. Shireena Hudson. After years spent quietly beside Kevin during the rise and fall of Wendy Williams' empire, she may know exactly how money moved behind the scenes, who benefited, who looked the other way, and who might still be hiding something. And if the pressure surrounding this case continues to build, some believe Shireena could eventually decide to talk. Because when empires collapse, silence rarely lasts forever. And in the scandals surrounding Wendy Williams, the truth may still be waiting to explode. And now the entire situation feels like it's reaching a boiling point. The empire that once revolved around Wendy Williams is no longer just a celebrity scandal. It's turning into a tangled web of lawsuits, accusations, and unanswered questions that refuse to go away. Kevin Hunter is still pushing his explosive legal battle, insisting powerful institutions conspired to cut him off from the fortune he once relied on. Meanwhile, the guardianship controlling Wendy's life continues to spark outrage from family members, fans, and legal observers who are demanding to know who is really benefiting while Wendy remains locked inside a system she can't escape. But the most unpredictable piece of this puzzle might still be Shireena Hudson. For years, she stayed silent while living inside Kevin's hidden world, watching the money flow and the empire grow behind closed doors. Now that the lifestyle has collapsed and the financial pressure keeps building, insiders say the silence around her is starting to feel dangerous. Because if Shireena ever decides to speak openly about what she saw, what she knew, and how the money allegedly moved behind the scenes, the fallout could reach far beyond Kevin Hunter. It could expose an entire network of people who surrounded Wendy Williams during the most vulnerable years of her life. And that possibility is exactly why the story is far from finished. Behind sealed court files and confidential settlements, there may still be secrets waiting to surface. Every new lawsuit, every leaked document, and every insider whisper adds another layer to a scandal that refuses to die. The real question now is simple. Was this just a messy celebrity breakup that spiraled out of control, or the exposure of a much bigger system built around Wendy Williams' fortune? Because if the truth finally comes out, the next collapse could be even bigger than the last. And trust me, this storm is only getting started. As Kevin Hunter's financial world began collapsing, the woman who had once lived quietly in the shadows of his double life suddenly found herself at the center of a storm. For years, Shireena Hudson had been little more than a rumor whispered behind the scenes of Wendy Williams' empire. Industry insiders knew about her. Certain media circles had heard the stories. But publicly, her presence was almost invisible. That invisibility was intentional. According to sources familiar with Kevin Hunter's inner circle, Shireena was kept deliberately out of sight while Wendy's television career continued dominating daytime ratings. The talk show host was building a media brand worth millions, and Kevin, as both husband and manager, controlled the machinery behind it. But while Wendy's empire expanded, Kevin's secret relationship with Shireena was quietly becoming something much deeper. Investigators and reporters who later examined the timeline claim their connection stretched back well over a decade. During some of the most intense periods of Wendy's career, including moments when she was battling addiction and recovering from health setbacks, Kevin was allegedly maintaining a completely separate life with another woman. And that life wasn't cheap. Sources claim Kevin funded much of Shireena's lifestyle, with money tied to Wendy's earnings. Apartments, travel, business ventures, even the launch of Shireena's vegan chef brand was reportedly supported through financial channels connected to Wendy's empire. For years, it remained hidden. Until 2019. That was the year everything shattered. When reports surfaced that Shireena Hudson had given birth to Kevin Hunter's daughter, the rumors that had circulated quietly for years suddenly became undeniable. The story exploded across celebrity media, sending shockwaves through Wendy Williams' fanbase. For Wendy, it was the ultimate betrayal. The divorce filing came quickly after. Their decades-long marriage ended, and the man who had once managed every aspect of Wendy's career was suddenly pushed out of her life. But financially, Kevin Hunter still walked away with a powerful safety net. The divorce settlement granted him $250,000 per month in alimony, a number that stunned many observers. Even after the affair scandal, Kevin would continue receiving a massive income tied directly to Wendy's fortune. And for a while, it seemed like nothing had really changed. Kevin and Shireena relocated to Florida. A luxury home became their new base of operations. Expensive cars were reportedly purchased. Social media occasionally revealed flashes of designer brands and upscale living. To outside observers, it appeared Kevin's second life had simply replaced his first. But beneath the surface, the foundation of that lifestyle remained dangerously fragile. Because every dollar still traced back to one person, Wendy Williams. Then came 2022. That year would become the turning point that changed everything. Concerns surrounding Wendy's health began escalating rapidly. Reports emerged of cognitive struggles, hospital visits, and erratic behavior. At the same time, financial red flags began surfacing inside her accounts. Her bank, Wells Fargo, reportedly detected suspicious transactions and potential exploitation concerns. In response, the bank froze Wendy's accounts and alerted the courts. What followed was a legal decision that would completely reshape the financial landscape around Wendy Williams. A judge placed her under court-ordered guardianship. From that moment forward, Wendy no longer had direct control over her own finances. Instead, a court-appointed guardian was granted authority to manage her money, approve transactions, and oversee her estate. The move was intended to protect Wendy, but the ripple effects were immediate and devastating for anyone who had been financially connected to her. Within weeks, the payments flowing to Kevin Hunter stopped. Just like that, the $250,000 monthly income that had funded his post-divorce lifestyle vanished. Court filings later revealed how dramatic the shift had been. Kevin claimed he suddenly could not keep up with financial obligations that had once been routine. Homeowner association fees went unpaid. Credit card balances piled up. Insurance payments fell behind. Then the creditors arrived. By 2024, financial institutions had reportedly begun pursuing Kevin through lawsuits over unpaid debts. One bank filed a claim for more than $20,000 in outstanding payments. Meanwhile, public records suggested Kevin had begun liquidating expensive assets. Luxury vehicles were reportedly sold. The Florida home he once shared with Shireena was listed for sale for over $1.2 million. Neighbors even claimed the property had begun showing signs of neglect, an eerie contrast to the glamorous life that had once been displayed there. And while Kevin's financial crisis was unfolding in courtrooms and legal documents, something equally dramatic was happening to the woman who had once stood beside him. Shireena Hudson began disappearing. Her social media presence, once filled with polished images and luxury branding, suddenly went quiet. Posts vanished. Accounts were deactivated. Public appearances stopped. Sources close to the situation claim the lifestyle she had once enjoyed collapsed almost overnight. One insider described the shift bluntly. She went from Gucci to gut cleanses. According to people who previously worked with her, Shireena began attempting multiple business pivots, promoting real estate listings, wellness supplements, and small consulting services in an effort to rebuild income streams. But the financial strain wasn't the only problem. Behind closed doors, tension reportedly began growing between Kevin and Shireena themselves. With the money disappearing and lawsuits piling up, their relationship was allegedly starting to fracture. Some sources claim Kevin had stopped contributing consistently to expenses related to their daughter, sparking arguments and resentment. And as public backlash intensified online, the once private affair that had destroyed Wendy Williams' marriage was now becoming something else entirely. To many observers watching from the outside, the collapse of Kevin and Shireena's lifestyle looked less like bad luck, and more like karma finally catching up. But while Kevin fought lawsuits and Shireena tried to quietly rebuild her life, an even darker controversy was beginning to grow around Wendy Williams herself. Because the system that had frozen her fortune, the guardianship meant to protect her, was now raising disturbing questions of its own. Questions that, if proven true, could expose a scandal far bigger than Kevin Hunter's betrayal. And far more powerful than anyone expected. While Kevin Hunter's financial empire crumbled and Shireena Hudson quietly retreated from the spotlight, the story surrounding Wendy Williams was taking an even darker turn. Because behind the scenes, the guardianship system that was supposed to protect Wendy was beginning to raise serious questions. At first, the court intervention had seemed straightforward. Wendy's bank had raised concerns about possible financial exploitation, and the court stepped in to ensure her money was protected while she dealt with ongoing health issues. On paper, the arrangement looked like a safeguard. But as months turned into years, cracks in that system started appearing. Family members began speaking out. Wendy's niece, her sister, and even her own son reportedly voiced concerns that they were being blocked from regular contact with her. According to several interviews and statements, attempts to visit or communicate with Wendy were often denied or delayed without clear explanation. And that raised a troubling question. If the guardianship existed to protect Wendy Williams, why were the people closest to her struggling to reach her? At the center of the controversy was Sabrina Morrissey, the court-appointed guardian responsible for overseeing Wendy's finances and well-being. Under the terms of the arrangement, Morrissey had the legal authority to manage Wendy's estate, approve expenses, and make decisions about her care. But critics quickly began pointing out something unsettling. Every decision inside a guardianship costs money. Court filings, legal consultations, administrative work, medical coordination. Each step generates billable hours, and those fees are often paid directly from the estate of the person under guardianship. In Wendy's case, that estate was worth millions, which meant every meeting, every document, and every court appearance could translate into hundreds, sometimes thousands, of dollars charged against her own fortune. To some observers, the system began to look less like protection and more like a financial machine running on Wendy's money. And that's when Kevin Hunter made his most explosive move yet. In a dramatic federal lawsuit, Kevin demanded $250 million in damages, accusing banks, lawyers, and guardianship officials of orchestrating a massive scheme to freeze Wendy's assets and cut him off from the income he had once received. The allegations were shocking. Kevin claimed that powerful institutions had worked together to isolate Wendy financially, remove control over her accounts, and divide access to her fortune while excluding people like him from the process. Legal experts quickly pointed out a major problem with his argument. Kevin Hunter no longer had any legal authority over Wendy Williams' finances. After their divorce, his connection to her estate was limited to the alimony agreement, an agreement that courts ruled no longer applied once Wendy's guardianship took effect. But despite those legal obstacles, Kevin's lawsuit still managed to ignite a storm of headlines. Because buried inside his accusations were claims that overlapped with concerns already raised by Wendy's own family. Several relatives publicly questioned whether Wendy was truly being protected or whether she was being isolated from the outside world. And the stories coming from inside her living situation only deepened the mystery. Reports claimed Wendy was living inside an assisted living facility where she had limited freedom to leave, limited communication with friends and family, and little control over her own daily decisions. In one moment captured during filming for a documentary, Wendy reportedly dropped a handwritten note out of a window. The message was chilling. It simply read, "Help. Wendy." That moment sent shockwaves through her fanbase. For decades, Wendy Williams had built a career exposing the secrets of celebrities and powerful figures. She was the voice who broke scandals wide open, the host who turned gossip into national headlines. Now, many fans were beginning to wonder if the biggest scandal of all was happening to her. Meanwhile, as investigators and journalists continued digging through court filings and sealed documents, new whispers began circulating behind the scenes. Some insiders suggested that Wendy's estate may have been used to fund media projects about her own life. Others claimed that personal belongings had been sold without her direct approval. There were even rumors that previously undisclosed financial accounts connected to her wealth had been accessed during the guardianship process.